You okay there, bud?
All right, we are live. Welcome all to Hit or Miss. I am your host, Night Strike, and I have an interesting group of panelists this evening. We're going to talk about some topics that have popped up in the news, and then kind of just whatever kind of pops up in our heads. We might talk about guns. We might talk about stuff relating to guns. There's a couple things going on we might go over. Anyways, let's introduce who we got tonight, and let's see who actually showed up. We've got Rich White. He was after me. He was first tonight in the panel.
Hello,
Rich. And then second was Travis P11. What's going on, Travis? I see the tactical corgis right there.
Yeah, he's had an exhausting day today of doing all this training and stuff. He went through Jaeger's course, so he's pretty exhausted right now. So,
God, but, you didn't pay Jaeger to shoot him, did you?
No, not at all. No. He functions more as the water boy than anything. So yeah.
Right.
But no, seriously, guys, check out my channel Travis P11 over on YouTube, and I got a little podcast we do called Caliber Corner Monday nights at 6:00 Central Time. Make sure you check it out. We talk about guns and ammo, and like and subscribe to everybody on this panel. Thanks for the invite, man. Yeah.
No problem. And, normally he's at work, but apparently he has dodged work and, jumped in at the last minute. We have Mike from Budget Guns and Gears.
Hey, how's it going? I wasn't dodging work. My wife had surgery yesterday.
You were totally dodging work tonight.
I made her get sick and everything and made her have to have surgery just so that I could not go to work today.
To do this show.
You know I'm only kidding with you, right?
Yeah, I know. Dude, I'm going to take you seriously.
Yeah, right.
I may be crazy, but I ain't dumb, right?
Yeah, right. Well, thank you for showing up. Sure. Next up, we've got one of two lovebirds. We've got Stacy. What's going on, Stacy?
Not much, and I want to point out that I was not last in the room.
You were not. No, you weren't. Nope. The one who is last is the other lovebird, Kingpin. What's going on, Kingpin?
Good evening. How is everybody?
Doing good, man. Yeah.
It's a joke between us.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's something between you two.
Yeah. Hey,
all right.
I'm not going to judge, man. Whatever you decide to do, as long as you're not hurting someone else, unless they consent, go right ahead.
We're not.
But if they consent, then all bets are off.
Well, that's neither here nor there, and that's
ain't none of our business.
And this is Hit or Miss Tuesday nights 9:00. So let's move on from that. All right. So I don't know if you guys know, but something amazing happened today. Earth shattering. You know what that was?
Did the Earth shatter?
Kamala Harris ended her bid for president, and this should have been her campaign motto. Quite honestly, she ended it saying, "I can't tell you ... that I have a path forward." That should have been her motto, her campaign motto.
I can't tell you.
I can't tell you that I have a path forward.
Yeah, I kind of called this happening though back when Beto ended his campaign as well, because if you remember,
no, you were right the first time.
All right, I'm going to say something. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, because back when Beto ended his campaign, she stopped everything that she was doing in New Hampshire and fired everybody up there. And I called it then that she was ending her campaign soon. And boom. Because if you're not campaigning in New Hampshire, you're not trying at this point, because that's the first primary in the country. I mean, this was pretty much a given. I mean, if you didn't see this coming, you weren't paying attention to what was going on.
Ooh.
I'm going to say this. If you watch that interview... Why are you
giving us great links and not jumping in and talking about it?
If you guys watched that interview with her over on Joe Rogan's show, I thought that was pretty interesting. I mean, at least she pretty much laid out how ugly it's getting, where the party's basically eating itself alive, and if you're not the chosen one, you pretty much can plan on not making it anywhere in the Democratic Party. So I mean, I thought the interview with her was interesting. She seemed to be very down to earth. Whether you agree with her politics or not doesn't matter. It's just her talking about the reality of how they come after you if you're not for who they want to win. So take it or leave it, but that was pretty interesting.
All right. Well, we've also got another celebrity out there on the YouTube chat. Mr. Gun Websites is also out there. He's posted it on gunchannels.com. Also, if you haven't done so already, check out to see if he has any Cyber Week deals at gearwebsites.com. That's gearwebsites.com. All right, moving on. So, yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I thought it was hilarious the way USA Today had that quote, and I'm like, that should have been her campaign motto. I can't tell you that I have a path forward, but I'm trying. I was amused. Okay, I know not everybody sees it the same way I do, but I was amused.
She actually put on there, but I'm trying. That's what she.
No,
actually, she said that. Oh, you put.
No,
that
I added that.
So I can't say that I have a path forward. That's basically her admitting defeat.
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
So. All right. So, who else has dropped out of the race so far? I know she has. I know. What's it? Nuke Boys.
Yeah,
Beto and
Beto are the only three that I can remember.
Nuke Boy and Beto. What about Tom Steyer or whatever his name is?
I'm still seeing his ads.
I'm still seeing his ads too, and it makes me angry because there's no way in hell I'm going to vote for him. So why are you showing me his ads?
Is there seriously who's going to be the main candidate for the Democrats? Is it going to be Biden?
It's going to be Biden.
Yeah,
dude, he's not even coherent. Is that man mentally fit to be behind the red button? Dude, I mean, I was listening to him chatting today, and he was just rambling on about stuff. I'm like, it sounds like. I mean, it really sounds like he's got some dementia going on. I'm scared, man. I'm like, this guy in power, he can't even.
Oh, it gets even better.
How's he going to function? He's got. I mean, either he's mentally just losing it, or he's just joking around and trying to have fun. Because like him, like nibbling on his wife's finger and stuff. I'm like, what is this man doing? You know when
McCain ran for president, he ran, and one of his campaign mottos was like, what was it? When John McCain ran for president, it was common sense or something like that. And Joe Biden's latest motto for his campaign, it's on his new bus, is no malarkey. And I'm like, Joe, you're only showing your age. Most kids these days have no idea what the word malarkey is. I know because I've heard it before. I've heard my grandparents use it before when I was younger, like 20 years ago.
I'm just going to say this, man. I had a great grandma that died from Alzheimer's, and after watching her slip, and I was a little kid, but I remember my grandpa, her son trying to have conversations with her, and it was like she was living in a different reality. And I mean, it's like she would just ramble on about something that had nothing to do with what we were talking about. I mean, I kind of see that. It just kind of scares me. I'm like, okay, when to put this guy in a leadership position, he doesn't even know where he's at. I'm just genuinely scared. I'm just going to say that right now. So
if he's using outdated words like that, granted, yes, it's still in the English language. It's still in the dictionary. It's occasionally used in shows which depict the olden days. But the issue is, it seems like Joe is out of touch with either reality or the fact that he's in 2019, not 1986.
Well, there's times where he doesn't even know where he's at.
Yeah, but with the bus, it could just be the fact that he doesn't let Mike Mularkey, former Pittsburgh Steeler and former head coach of the Tennessee Titans, on his bus.
That could be.
He wasn't like this last year.
I don't think so.
No.
So
I don't know, man.
I don't know, but the finger biting thing wasn't the worst thing that I saw from Biden this weekend. Did you see where he was at some public school somewhere, and he had a bunch of those little black kids around him. He's talking about how he likes when little kids sit on his lap and play with his leg hair.
No.
On his leg hair, and his leg hair turns blonde in the summertime. I'm like, what is he talking about? He goes, yeah, I like it when little kids sit and pull on my leg hair, and my leg hair turns blonde in the summertime, and they pull on it. I'm like,
and right
what the hell are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, and right after he says that, the part about he likes little kids pull on his leg hair and that, he looks right at this one little black one and says, and I really like when kids sit on my lap.
Dude, I mean, if I said stuff like that in my job, I'd be released that day. I'm sorry, around kids?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Good God, man. What the?
I think Joe has officially lost his marbles.
Okay, so are they planning on putting him in so they want to get him elected so the vice will take over, or what?
Though a case could be heard that he never had his marbles in the first place.
Oh, my God.
Case could be heard for that.
The Democrats are not trying to win an election. That's nonsense. If you think that they're actually trying to win 2020, that's totally absurd.
I think they're trying to put everything in the whole impeachment thing so that Pence becomes president and Pelosi becomes vice president.
Well, that's not going to happen because he'd have to pick her as his vice president. She doesn't automatically become vice president.
No, if you impeach the president, the vice president becomes president, doesn't he?
Yeah, the vice president becomes president, but then he picks his vice president.
Yeah,
it's like what happened with Gerald Ford when Nixon resigned. There'll be the same thing.
Okay.
Whoever Pence would pick the next vice president. It wouldn't just go out.
But because I thought if the vice president became president, then the Speaker of the House is supposed to become
that's only if the president and vice president are both incapacitated to the point where they can't hold the office that the Speaker of the House becomes president.
Right. Okay, that's right.
But no, they're not trying to actually win an election. They're setting it up for 2024, and they're doing like Night Strike started to say until he went completely crazy. They're doing their best to undermine everything that this whole thing is about. That's why I've said a million times, what they're doing has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Donald Trump just happens to be the person standing there right now. This has got to do with each and every one of us.
And they're talking about they hate Donald Trump.
They hate you. That's why. Donald Trump will be gone.
They don't know me. They know Donald Trump. They hate Donald Trump.
Before you interrupt
half the gun community hates Donald Trump.
Listen to me for 2 seconds, and then you can refute everything I'm going to say. Donald Trump will be gone in 4 years. They're not stupid. Nancy Pelosi's been in Washington, D.C. forever. All these politicians have been there forever. Donald Trump, the president, is temporary. Once they get rid of the president is when they're going to do whatever they feel like doing. Right now, they're stuck with a president that they can't figure out how to get rid of. This is an attack on you and me and Night Strike and Travis and G-Webs and Gizzard and your grandma and your next door neighbor.
No, you're not old. You must not be old enough. This is payback for Bill Clinton being impeached.
Sure, I get that. There's a little bit of pettiness involved there.
It's all pettiness. It's nothing but pettiness.
No, this is about the future. This isn't about the past. This is about the future.
Oh, my God. There's nothing about the future about Democrats.
Kingpin, the Democrats don't look towards the future. They only look towards what makes them money or what gives them more power.
I disagree.
Yeah, that's so silly. How are you going to make money? How are you going to make money off yesterday? You're going to make money.
Particularly when it comes to the Second Amendment, they've been looking to the future for decades and chipping away at the stone. They play the long game. Make no mistake.
So I heard all this crap the last time we were talking about elections. So I want everybody in here to say who they're going to vote for in 2020, or I'm out. Because I went through this crap, honestly, with the gun community. And I went through this crap with Trump. The whole half the gun community was bashing Trump. And I said he was going to win. He won. I won bets. Nobody paid him off. And now here we go again. So who are you going to vote for?
I rooted for him, and I won't lie. I did vote for Trump. To vote him in the first time. I won't lie.
We're talking about 2020.
And let's be real. If it comes, depending on who the Republicans try and go run against them, which I don't think many are going to this time. Not as many as last time.
Nobody's going to run against Trump in the GOP. He's already got the nomination.
Yeah. He's the incumbent president. He's got the nom.
If he's already got the nomination, then
the question is, are you going to vote for Trump or are you going to vote for the Democrat candidate?
I'm voting. Unfortunately, I'm this kind of person. I vote the party line. Okay.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
And in the party line, and if you don't know, I come from an old Republican family, so I'm not voting Democrat. Basically, in my family, it's hashtag never Democrat. So, granted, my grandparents, my mom's parents were Roosevelt Democrats, but I'm talking about my dad's side of the family. We're from old Republicans, so I've got Republican in my blood, so I can't vote Democrat in good conscience ever, and I've never voted Democrat since I turned 18.
There may not even be an impeachment in the House. Even if there's an impeachment in the House, there won't be in the Senate. The Senate will not confirm it. Trump will not be removed from office. And the Democrats know it. It's a political game. This is all about just trying to poke the bear, and Trump is the bear.
Well, that's what you. If you don't like someone, if you're not as popular as the richest kid on the block with politicians, then yeah, they're gonna pick on whoever they don't like.
That was my
if you aren't the cool kid in Washington, then you get picked on, and he's not the cool kid. He wants to be, but he's not.
I think you make a big mistake if you think this is about Donald Trump.
It's not.
What are you talking about? It's nothing but. What have they done? They started trying to impeach him before he was even elected. What are you talking about? They have been obsessed with Donald Trump since before he was even elected.
They're obsessed with Donald Trump because he's got people like you and me and Night Strike and everybody else interested in what's going on. They're trying to destroy Donald Trump to shut you up, Tony. Not to shut Donald Trump.
They literally hate. They literally hate him.
Yeah, they hate you. That's what I'm saying. They hate you, dude. They hate all of us. Donald Trump just happens to be the dude sitting in the White House right now. This is about how much they hate our country and our Constitution.
I think there's not as much philosophy involved as what you're giving them credit for. I think they hate the idea of an outsider, and he's the outsider. He got 63 million people to vote for him. He kicked Hillary's butt. Hillary was supposed to be the anointed one. She was next in line. She lost big time. Now it's out. Now it's just payback. That's all it is. And they will never stop. It will always be something.
All right, so let's move on from there and talk about some gun news. Anybody hear some good gun news lately? Well, what's going on with the Supreme Court? I heard the other day that the Supreme Court is they've actually started listening to the whole New York versus New York State. Was it the New York Rifle and Pistol Association versus New York State?
Yeah, New York Rifle and Pistol Association versus New York City. They heard oral arguments and they heard the question of mootness. They have not ruled on the question of mootness yet. There are a lot of people that think that they're going to moot it. There are a lot of people that think, no, they're not going to moot it. We should know more about that by Friday.
Right, but we do need to mention something. Everyone's favorite, always in the hospital Supreme Court justice, or I'll spell it out for you, Ginsburg, said that she doesn't understand why this case is brought up before us.
Yeah.
And, well, the thing is, the reason why the case was brought up is because New York made a law which you couldn't transport your firearms, and it's against the Constitution. 1, it's against the Firearm Owners Protection Act. 2, and 3, when it was in court, they tried to change the law back as if nothing happened, hoping that would kill the court case, and it only made the courts angry. You don't change a law, you don't make a law that's unconstitutional and bad, and then say change it, and then say, oh, we changed it back to how it was. It's not like that anymore. You don't need it. You can just throw the case out. No, it doesn't work like that.
Do we have any idea how long this whole process is going to last? Could it be drawn out for years, or is it going to be fairly speedy? What do you guys think?
If they decide to hear the case on its merits, in other words, if they decide that it is not in fact moot, then we should have a verdict by July. Should have a ruling by July.
Okay.
All right. Well, hey,
it'll be thrown out. You can't have such a fundamentally flawed law stand, and that's why they took it up, because it's such a fundamentally flawed law. They don't take up laws that are just like, well, ho hum, whatever.
Oh yeah, if they decide to hear the case, if they decide not to moot the case, then it's definitely going to be a win for the 2A. The only question in that case would be how much of a win, how broad they will rule on it, or whether they'll restrict it to very narrow. I suspect that if they hear the case, if they're not going to moot it, then it'll be a 2A win, and I think they'll rule somewhere middle of the road, not as broad as we would like, but not as narrow as the antis would like. I don't think they'll make broad sweeping changes.
I don't think there's.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Ohio 45 ACP is out there saying, I read the transcript of the arguments, and I thought there was a lot of support from the justices, except for Ginsburg, of course, and Sotomayor.
Yeah, well, of course, the libs were against it.
The libbies weren't happy.
I need to read that transcript. Damn it. I have not yet, I must admit.
I've been occupied
with
they pretty much had to strike it down because it's such a broad precedent. You can't have every city in the United States saying you can't carry firearms across the city,
right?
Border city lines. It's just it's ridiculous. It's too much of a precedent. It has to be stricken down.
I hope it is. I sincerely hope that it gets struck down, and the New York government gets slapped for trying to change the law back last minute to say, hey, there's no more case. You don't need to push it any further, because actions like that only subvert the law instead of uphold it.
Correct.
So, moving on. Did anybody get? I'm going to ask this since Cyber Monday was yesterday and Black Friday was last week. I'm going to ask this. Okay. Did anybody get anything cool or interesting that you'd like to share?
Just a reduced price copy of Call of Duty.
Okay.
I got a tactical stocking.
Yeah, those are awesome, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a tactical stocking. You told me that the other night. Yeah. You asked us, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to repeat it. No. That's good. It's good. You're good. Don't worry about it. No. But I got a new TV because the one I had was starting to go, and instead of paying $50 to replace a part in it, I decided to just buy a new TV because a 4K TV at $148. Yeah, I'm gonna buy that because I'm cheap.
Did you have to punch any old ladies to get it?
Nope. My Walmart had enough pallets of TVs. Good.
Yeah, the last couple of years I've noticed that there has not been, even like those $98 ones, there's only been so many people in line to get them, because I think we're just kind of, at this point, kind of saturated with televisions. I just think that we've seen them for so many years now that, you buy one, it'll last you 4 or 5 years before you replace it. Whereas initially, once we started going LED and thin screens and 1080p, then people started upgrading and buying like crazy, and then there's kind of a glut. So
We got a couple more comments out there on the whole Supreme Court situation, so I want to go over these. Consolidated 1776 says Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg admitted to Johns Hopkins Hospital on Friday night after experiencing chills and fever. The Supreme Court said Saturday night. Ohio 45
work Monday.
Yeah, Ohio 45 ACP says a big sticking point was about where you could stop when transporting a firearm. Yeah, too much interpretation by state unreasonable. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Ohio 45 also says Ginsburg wants to hold on until January. Then, with the election coming, her replacement will not be appointed by Trump, just as Obama was blocked. Kinky Speaker is telling us he got a threaded Glock 25 barrel.
How would excuse me? How would Trump not? How would that work? How would Obama? What do we got? Conspiracy theories going on?
I guess because the House, the Democrats have the House.
The House has no say in
the Dems will have the Senate after the election, is what their hope is. So then the Dems will do the same thing that the Republicans did with Obama, and they refused to.
Right. I see where you're going.
Confirm an appointment in an election year.
Well, they won't win the Senate, so don't have to worry about that.
But
they'll be lucky if they maintain the House.
But Kinky Sphincter said, I got a threaded Glock 25 barrel, stainless steel, and a pimped out Glock 22C slide. Can't wait to get them in. He says it's going to be awesome. Well, he says it's going to be sweet, but I see it as awesome. Jason Stewart said we had a house fire. We were asleep. We woke up just in time. I smelled bacon cooking. Okay, that's not good.
Jason Stewart raises pigs.
Oh, okay.
Stacy's always attacking him and talking about cooking his pig for bacon, and he was telling a story about something that happened back in the day.
Stacy, why can't you utter those sweet nothings to me instead?
Tattletale.
Anyways, Ohio 45 ACP says Obama was blocked in his last year in appointing a justice, as the newly elected president should appoint the position. Yeah. All right. I'm glad Jason Stewart is all right, though. Got 23 all day. Did anyone hear about the prosecuting attorney or King County trying to tell a father he has to choose between his guns and his son in Washington State? I did not hear about that. Did you guys hear about that?
I've heard of stories like that before, but I don't know if it was a different story.
Yeah, I heard about a story like that, but it was from like earlier in the summer or something. A kid basically got red flagged because he did something at school, and they were telling the father he had to give up his guns because, the kid still lived at home.
The kid got a red flag, or the dad got a red flag?
The kid, somebody from the school turned the kid in for it because apparently he said something or wrote something. I don't really remember the story, but it might be a different story but the one I'm thinking of happened like during the summer or last year or something.
I was just thinking that a red flag law would apply to an adult. So it's not a minor.
I didn't know if you gave it back to me or not.
All right.
Huh?
All right. Well, apparently, someone's actually gone and done some numbers, and apparently the three biggest selling guns so far this season have been the new Springfield Hellcat, the micro compact 9mm, the 6 Sauer P365 SAS, and the Glock 19 Gen 5. Those are the three biggest selling handguns this season so far. I guess because that's not surprising because I've seen some good deals on the 365 lately.
Oh yeah.
Anybody notice a pattern there? 9mm, G-Lives?
Well, you're seeing some mega discounts on them, man. You're seeing 365s for $400 at a lot of places, and you're seeing $50 rebates on the shields. And
I see the 9mm pattern there. I mean, it's not my choice of cartridge. I prefer 45 ACP or 357 SIG, but not everybody can be as awesome as me.
Well, again, it's just about price, man. If it's a cheap gun, somebody's going to want it for somebody or themselves,
Right, well, then here's my point. Not every gun is going to be cheap. Hell, most Glocks aren't cheap. People say, "Oh, Glocks are cheap."
Well, I say cheap as an inexpensive, relatively inexpensive.
They're cheap. They're cheap because they never die.
Right. Well, they can. They can. They just don't.
Yeah.
But again, it's interesting to hear that those are the three biggest selling guns so far this season. I would have figured maybe a larger caliber would have been. And if anybody's asking where this report is from the FBI about pertaining to the Black Friday deals that have gone on already.
Yeah. Well, most of your deals have been on what I've seen. The really good prices, the really low prices, have been on 9mm models. So that's probably why.
Right.
Yeah.
There were some good 380s though. I saw some good 380 deals.
Oh.
I went over with Roll Call on Rants and Raves the other night. Last week when we were going over the Black Friday deals for his store. Not his store particularly, but the company.
Oh, okay.
I got a good deal on my new Block 42 at Moss Pond.
Is Moss Pond up where you're at, or is that in Georgia?
Jonesboro, Georgia.
Jonesboro, Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just south of Atlanta, right?
You haven't been there?
I've never been there. I've been through that way, but I've never been to that.
It's like Mecca. Everybody has to go to Moss Pond at least once in their life.
Is Eric ever actually there though, or not?
They also say that about Savannah and the Paula Deen restaurant, but
Well, I've been there. Yeah.
I haven't been there yet. And, it's only like 60 miles from me. So.
Oh, you've been to Savannah.
I've been through Savannah, yeah, but I haven't stopped in Savannah and eaten at the restaurant. That's the only thing.
Hey, Nice Ray, can we have a food chat for like 1 minute?
If we must.
I finally got to enjoy the Southern staple that is Cheerwine.
You finally got this. Got to destroy that.
All right, so if Dr. Pepper and sarsaparilla could have a child, it would be Cheerwine. That stuff is freaking amazing. Oh my God, we bought a bottle at Cracker Barrel, took it home. It's so good. You guys are so lucky to have that.
I get that stuff in 2 liters, my friend.
Geez. I mean, the one bottle of it was plenty because it's so freaking sweet. But man, that stuff was amazing. I always like trying new stuff we just can't get out here because we're so limited where we are. So to get something different, amazing, dude.
Since you go to Cracker Barrel,
not that often, but yeah.
Well, not that often, but the next time you go,
yeah,
there's a type of ginger ale you need to try.
Okay.
It's primarily only sold in Kentucky. It's called Ale 8-1.
Ooh, okay, and they sell it there in a little gift shop or whatever.
They sell it in the gift shop. And
okay, I'll try, man.
It basically, it's the reason why they named it like that because it's supposed to signify a late one.
Ah, I gotcha. So it's not a ginger. It's not a ginger beer, right? It's a ginger ale.
It's a ginger ale.
Okay.
It's just another type of ginger ale, but it is awesome. It's one of the best ginger ales I've ever had.
All right, man. I'll try it.
I would say if I had a choice between drinking Ale 8-1 and Canada Dry, I'd drink Ale 8-1.
Yeah. Well, Cheerwine was definitely impressive, man. It was a whole different flavor I'd never had before in a soda, so it was good.
I just remember Cheerwine having some kind of weird aftertaste.
Yeah, it almost tastes like a weak version of Dr. Pepper, almost like I said, kind of a sweet vanilla, kind of sarsaparilla flavor, but then the Dr. Pepper,
it's like you have mouthwash in your mouth left over.
It's kind of like Listerine or whatever. Yeah,
like a chemical burn.
And if you guys
I wouldn't
ask,
say it was that bad.
I will say this. I am somewhat of a connoisseur of soft drinks. It doesn't matter what kind. If it's carbonated, it's got sugar, or it's got caffeine in it, I'd probably drink it.
So you're the soda version of me, but I'm coffee, right?
Right.
Okay, I got you.
If if I wanted to do a food reviews, I would do probably reviews on different types of soda. Like I get a Surge, a can of Surge off of Amazon.
Oh yeah,
and I review Surge. Man, I miss that stuff.
Surge, can't we still get that? Is that still being made or not?
I don't know if it's still being made or.
I've seen it in the soda. I think it's carried by. It's in the same machines that has Mellow Yellow in it. We get Mellow Yellow out here. Okay. We have Mellow Yellow machines that sell Fanta, Surge. And then there's 3 different versions of Mellow Yellow. Yeah.
Wasn't Surge like a character in Austin Powers, maybe?
Surge came in a green can. It was kind of a cheaper. What?
Surge was
it's like Mountain Dew's competitor or something.
No, Surge was the second attempt at Coca-Cola to combat Mountain Dew. Because while Coca-Cola owned Mellow Yellow was never as popular as Mountain Dew is for Pepsi. So they tried to revamp it, and they made Surge, which tasted completely different. And I would say over Mellow Yellow, if they had dropped Mellow Yellow and just kept on doing Surge, I think more people would have bought it, and it would have been as popular as Mountain Dew. But they didn't. And Jay Monty out there is saying, "What about Jolt Cola? Jolt,
yeah,
you can get that at your local Dollar General for $1."
Yeah,
my friends and I were so into that stuff.
No,
really?
The Jolt they make
they took the cocaine out of it.
Yeah, the Jolt they make now is not like what it used to be. It doesn't taste the same. It doesn't give you that same boost, shall we say? I mean, my friend, I don't know if in your areas if they did this, but in the Pittsburgh area, we used to get it in 2 liters. You drink a 2 liter of Jolt, and you're bouncing off the walls at that point.
Hey, I'm 57. I remember when my grandfather called Cokes dopes. Okay, they called them dopes because they always thought they had cocaine or whatever.
And Shauna says he's claiming soft drinks, but he didn't have Vernors. I've had Vernors before, Sean, and while Vernors is good, I like Ale 8 more over Vernors, just overall.
Yeah, originally Coca-Cola did have cocaine in it. That's where the coca part comes from. And then the cola is actually from the cola nut, which is but it's a nut that grows in Africa, and that's where the caffeine in Coca-Cola originally came from. This was way back when it was first marketed as a medicine, but when it was turned into a soft drink, he got the cocaine out. But he kept using the cola nut, which is where the cola for that type of beverage came from. In case anybody was wondering.
Yeah. Yep, you can still find Jolt at your local Dollar General because they sell that. But again, it's not like it used to be where they had the like Monster. Jolt used to have that twist off cap. Remember that?
No, it was always in like regular soda bottles whenever we bought it.
Well,
I've seen it in just regular cans and bottles, but yeah.
The later versions, the later cans before they stopped selling Jolt altogether, they had the tops just like some older Monster cans do.
Yeah, it was
where you twist it off.
Yeah, it was best when it was twice the sugar and twice the caffeine, but now it's just
Now, here's the thing. I've also had. Have any of you guys ever had Tap?
I've seen it.
Tab was popular back in the 80s, like everywhere, man.
Yeah, that was
Tab was popular back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they still make it. You can still get it at the stores. Granted, select stores these days, but they still make Tab. And I like Tab every once in a while because it's just, it's a nice drink. But granted, I'd much rather have a Coca-Cola, but Tab was kind of made as like a diet cola, more or less.
I always thought it was for hippies.
No, it was diet because
that's PBR.
Yeah, the Tab was for the people on diets. Because you remember the old commercials from like the late 70s and early 80s. They always had the women in the with the tights and the leg warmers and the commercials.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
damn it, son of a bitch.
What's going on? Oh, hey.
Oh, sorry, I forgot I wasn't muted.
Yeah, so what's going on? You curse, so you gotta tell us what's going on. I can't
get my AK master mount to seat properly on my AK, and it's beginning to irritate me to no end.
Go
No
watch
matter
an
how much-
instructional video.
No, I've got it installed properly. It's just not made properly. It's got too much play in it. It's got play in it, which it shouldn't.
And wait. Did you say AK?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on. One more for good measure. Hold on. There we go. For some reason, my bolt sometimes sticks on the hammer. You get that?
Sometimes.
So
You just gotta rack it with a Thoratah.
all right. That's enough AK racking. I mean, I've always got the AK next to me because I love that rifle. So, all right. What else is going on in the news? Let me check the news. There's got to be some more things going on. I don't want to talk about that.
Well, I don't know if you guys want to talk about it, but Coda Boy 32 had a pretty good video on Virginia.
Virginia's getting hosed.
Yeah, that's kind of gearing up to be a bit of a scary situation too. Just with, I mean, I don't understand Virginia politics, but after watching the video, I got it a little bit better, I guess you could say. He was kind of comparing it to the Hunger Games, where basically the capital city controls the entire state, but the state has all the resources. So it's like, yeah, interesting situation, man.
Is it a situation where the rest of the state could starve the capital out?
Yeah, you're getting a lot of the kind of the sanctuary cities popping up all over the place in Virginia, and a lot of declarations, drawing a lot of lines in the sand, I guess you could say.
I don't mean starve them out physically or product wise. I mean just kind of you can make all the laws you want, but we're not going to enforce anything.
Yeah. Is anybody here living in Virginia or been in Virginia before, or spent any time down there at all? Or
I've lived in Fairfax, and my mom's family, her father's family, were originally from Virginia, and then it became West Virginia. So
Virginia is a key example of what I was talking about the other day, Travis.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't vote, okay, it didn't matter that you didn't vote this election, and then you compound that by 5 years worth of elections. Or 5 election cycles, then 10 election cycles, then 2 generations worth of election cycles, and you get what happened in Virginia. That's exactly what happened in Virginia. Is people sat back and didn't pay attention and let the snakes roll in and take over.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it is definitely not a good situation. I hate to see that spread anywhere else too. Well, it already has in some places, but yeah.
Yeah, I live where I live in West Virginia. We're sandwiched right between Maryland and Virginia. It's like we're looking around, like what the hell is going on around us?
One of the counties right next to my county is instituting a busing program in January. That's not progress. The same county in January is issuing a 5-cent plastic bag tax. That county has 320,000 residents. 700 people requested to ban plastic bags. So for 700 people, everybody else has got to pay a plastic bag tax. That's not progress. This is, once again, Maryland is a perfect example of what happens when people sit back and don't pay attention. My vote doesn't count. They don't care. All that other letters don't count. Whatever excuse you can have for not being involved in what's going on in your neighborhood, this is what happens to you.
Yeah. I'm not arguing. I understand because you're stuck in a place where originally I think Maryland was pretty Republican, and then it just kind of flipped the script, if I remember properly.
No, Maryland's been pretty Democrat for a while.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No,
Maryland is the reason Virginia is the way it is.
I think back in the 80s it was Republican.
I mean, I've lived here my entire life. I'm telling you that it's had little spurts here and there in power. When you break it down into counties and townships and stuff like that, yeah, you're going to find some regular everyday people. But when the elections come, the Democrats have run Maryland for pretty much forever.
Yeah.
So, this is also from the FBI. Apparently, Black Friday was the second biggest NICS check day in history. This Black Friday this year.
Yeah, I think I don't know, maybe have a little bit of uncertainty going into a lot of the elections. That and just the fact that there were some genuinely good deals. I mean, when I was at the Shield store in Lincoln, Nebraska last week, and it was friggin' packed in the gun department. I mean, there was guns rolling out of there left and right.
Yeah,
a lot of money to spend too.
Oh yeah.
It seemed like some of the deals weren't as bad as they've been the past couple of years. Granted, they weren't. I'm going to say this: some of the deals weren't amazing. They weren't amazing deals, but they weren't bad, as opposed to prior years where they were kind of eh.
Well, I mean, I'm just seeing a lot of high quality, lower priced guns that were just being offered at rock bottom prices that we haven't seen all year. I mean, that really does motivate people. Me, I was focused more on the ammo end of it than the gun end of it, because I've got other firearms I'm looking at right now purchasing. But man, some of the ammo deals were just off the chain, man.
Yeah.
The guns you're looking at purchasing, Travis, you mean like this one?
Don't even go there, man. I know, I missed my chance. It's probably still sitting there waiting for me. I had a chance to pick up a H&K USP 40 that was just mint. It was what, decocker model, I think. Rich, is just like yours. Is that what you call it technically?
Rich, you pulled out the wrong gun. You should have pulled out a Makarov.
Oh my God! Don't even go there. I'll have one of those someday too. But yeah, no, I could have got a USP 40 for $415, and it was really, really good shape. I mean, it was in the use case, and it looked fine. I mean, it looked, yeah.
If it was the double action, single action with the safety and decocker, that's the V1.
Yep. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, because I'm kind of kicking myself now. Although I have been looking at CDNN's got some great deals on SIG certified refurbished 226s and 229s for $450. Oh my God! And if you don't mind going 40 or 357 SIG, yeah, they still have some of the German-made frames too. Yeah.
They had the 220 as well, the German 220.
Yep. 500, I think, for one of the 527 or something for the 220, and then everything else is below that.
Yeah.
So, man, you're talking about a good deal on a good gun. I mean, I want to get into a 40 just to have one, and I've had them in the past, but they're relatively inexpensive. That or 357 SIG. I'll probably go that route instead, because I can just swap out a barrel if I decide to go SIG.
Right.
I think if you,
right,
I was reading what G-Witch said about gun sales. I think though, if you look at the total amount of money people spent on Black Friday, that would have to translate to some degree to even more, just naturally more gun sales. I don't think there's anything wrong with assuming there were higher gun sales on Friday. I don't see the harm in that.
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
G-Webs just threw the gauntlet at you, Travis.
Oh no, what did I say now?
I want to get into a 40, Travis P11.
Yeah, I'd like to add a 4. I've had 40s in the past. I just consolidated down to 9 for just simplicity's sake and cost sake. But now I've got a 45 again. I'm looking at 357 SIG. So there's nothing wrong with having it. I think it's a nice, capable round.
The only reason I'd get a handgun in 40 is so I could switch it out for 357 SIG.
Well, yeah, and I love 357 SIG, and I love 357 Magnum. I mean, they're both great.
By the way, guess what? I've done that already twice.
I know.
Yeah, you can get a 357 SIG barrel for the USP. HK did have one available for it.
They did.
Okay.
That. So.
See, that's another possibility. One part of it too is there's just these fantastic deals on 40s out there, and there is really great, self-defense or just range ammo that's out there, great prices. So why not? Why not expand into a different caliber? That, and I've also been looking at some of the 10 millimeters too.
All right, so we've got Mr. Midnight Range himself saying the bolt hanging up on that AK sounds pretty common. Is that found in only less expensive rifles, or do you see that with nicer rifles too? Is it something that should be addressed, that Night Strike?
I never had it on any of my AKs.
I've heard that it's not necessarily on lower end one. lower end AKs, it just kind of happens because of how the bolt travels and where the position where the hammer is. Eventually, everything will smooth out and it won't catch on the hammer anymore. But it does happen occasionally with some rifles. So it's just one of the quirks of some of the AKs. I like it. I like my AK. It's a great rifle.
I'm sure if it was a problem, the PLO had probably already complained enough about it that it had been taken care of.
Probably. But we're gonna wind it down. Travis, do you know if John's doing his old man chat tonight?
Yeah, the get off my lawn chat. Yep.
Yeah. All right. I got one image we're gonna share from everyone's favorite boob sweat out there. Has an image he wants us to share, so we're gonna screen share that real quick before we get on out of here. So let's go to start screen sharing some of these funny images. Okay, here we go. Let's see if it's showing up. There we go. Cincinnati shooting, authorities. This could have been a bloodbath. Gunman's pistol was loaded with more than 200 rounds of ammo. I want to know where I can get a 200 round 45 ACP magazine for my 1911. I tell you, I can't get out of bed for anything less than the 7 rounds.
That is one heck of a magazine detach button too, by the way. That
I know. Look at that thing. That's
that
a monster.
probably beefed up to hold 5 pounds of rebar sticking out of it.
Let's be realistic. Anything over 190 rounds is just a waste.
Right.
Yeah,
But
200
again,
stack magazine. Yeah, you got yourself a monopod and a magazine all in one there.
right? Look at that thing. It's ridiculous.
It'll take you a week to load the magazine.
Reminds me of that guy who was holding a Glock mag when he was using a revolver.
Because that's about 12 pounds worth of ammo hanging off the bottom of that thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. It really
I mean,
is.
I'm honestly, just a box of 45, 50 rounds has got a little bit of weight to it. Whew, man.
All right.
I almost want to do like a story problem on this. Gangsters 1911 has 200 rounds of 45 in it. 1 round of 45 weighs blank ounces. What's the total weight of the firearm? It's like a bad story problem.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if we wanna...
They carry it. You put a roller skate on the bottom.
Here's something interesting, Travis. I want you to cover this before we go.
What are we talking about?
Look at that! Wow.
I see your logo, Night Strike.
Look at the side chat.
Side chat, huh? Okay, what's going on here?
There's a link.
Well, yeah.
Did you delete the picture I sent you a while back?
Huh?
Did you delete the picture I sent you a while back?
No, but I'm not going to show that on air. I think I might get demonetized. I might get demonetized, Tracky. But look at that. You see, Travis?
The woman who got charged after shooting a teenager who robbed her at gunpoint?
Right.
In Chicago. Is there any surprise?
No, I'm not surprised by it at all. But we could go over it real quick.
Yeah, well, let's see what happened here. So this was some sort of like a Craigslist meeting to do a sale. A 14-year-old girl met this woman to sell her a dog, and the 21-year-old gal was getting robbed, and so she did what? She shot a teenager that was trying to rob her. So how else is a person supposed to defend themselves if they can't do it when you're being robbed, I guess?
Well, she wasn't supposed to be carrying the weapon. She didn't have a handgun license.
She had a valid FOID card, though.
Yeah, she had a FOID card, but no carry permit.
Yeah, that'll get you. That'll get you, especially in Illinois and Chicago.
So it says when Diaz showed up at the agreed location in the Little Village neighborhood around 5:45 p.m., she was met by the young girl, but instead of handing over the money for the dog, the girl pulled out a pellet gun that looked like a handgun. So, I mean, some of these BB guns, they look full size. If you don't know firearms well enough, you might think it's a 22. Pellet gun's got pellet gun's got a decent little opening at the end of the barrel. I mean, most of us might know, but I mean, depending on the lighting. But again, you can get, pellet guns and BB guns that are modeled after real firearms. Glock makes a pellet gun. SIG makes a pellet gun.
Pellet guns are like .177.
Yeah,
That's pretty-
0.177.
But I mean, just if you don't know guns well enough to know that is in fact a pellet gun, you might not know any better than to assume it's a real firearm.
You may not know.
Yeah, and they're not safety colored.
Yeah.
BB guns don't have to be safety colored like they do airsoft guns or toy guns. So
Yeah, you can rig an airsoft gun to where it doesn't have the orange tip on it, and their bore's a little bit bigger than 177.
So let's continue. Here's what they're not telling us, and this is what we learn about later. The young girl used the gun to pistol whip Diaz on the head and tried to take the dog without paying for it. Okay, you get assaulted at gunpoint and you defend yourself and you still get charged? Really? Unless you shot the girl in the back when she was running off with a dog or something. I mean, I can't,
Well,
So
how
it says,
dare you illegally carry the means to protect yourself?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, it's not illegal. It's what the state says is illegal, but it shouldn't be illegal. Shouldn't be illegal. Diaz couldn't tell that the gun was only a pellet gun, and at this point, she was afraid for her life. Pulled out a handgun from her purse and shot the 14-year-old in the chest. Police are called an hour later, arrested the 21-year-old Diaz. Well,
She's trying to rob you. Oh well.
Yeah.
Oh well. But
Did not have a valid concealed carry permit.
What state
Now-
did you say it was in?
This is Chicago.
Oh, well.
Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah, there's going to be a trouble suit now too, and that gal's going to
Criminal's the
get sued.
victim.
She had a FOID card though, but she didn't have a concealed carry permit, and that's what they got her on.
In any state or city where the criminal's the
But-
victim, you're in trouble anyway.
But the Constitution says the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It doesn't say unless you have a carry permit or unless you're allowed to open carry because the state says so. No, it says to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Unfortunately, states don't abide by that.
Both of them got charged, by the way. The one girl got charged with robbery, and then the Diaz gal got charged with unlawful possession of a firearm or use of a firearm.
Yeah.
You should try that speech in Chicago.
Where's the funny part? There's an officer that made a statement to the public that said, and I quote, "A BB gun can appear like a real gun, and to anyone out there that's going to appear like a real gun, to the police or to any individual." So he's almost sticking up for her in the statement he made to the press. But then he said, "Well, if somebody's carrying and they have their own CCL, they may use their own gun to defend themselves." But obviously, this gal was not.
This is where concealed carry comes in. Diaz has no legal reason not to be allowed to carry, or else she couldn't have gotten her FOID card. But instead of being at home with her family and caring for her dog, gun control laws have her behind bars. Now she's been a victim of an armed robber and Illinois' terrible gun control laws. Now, I think at that, all we have to say is, oh, well.
There's an interesting comment at the bottom of that article. It says, "So what if the gun was real and the poor lady died? So can we carry legal guns? What do we carry legal guns for anyway then, for decoration? This is just plain BS." And then it goes on.
It is BS. So,
Well,
but
in Chicago,
again, we have to.
the shooter would have gotten counseling. So,
He would have gotten counseling. Probably they would have given him the key to the city and all that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess all I'm going to say is if you are required in the state that you live in to have a concealed carry permit to conceal carry, that's probably what you should do so you can avoid this kind of a situation where you're going to get arrested if you ever have to use your firearm, whether it's justified or not. Because had she had her card, there probably wouldn't have been any question about it. Obviously she would have been taken in, questioned, gun would have been confiscated, that whole process. But she also wouldn't have been.
So, are you going to preach? Are you going to preach to her? Are you going to preach to her, or are you going to preach to the municipality that required the concealed carry permit?
Yeah.
Who are you going to preach to first?
We'll pitch to whoever we.
I'm just telling anybody listening that don't let this happen to you. If you just think, well, I'll just carry one in my pocket just in case. Well, if you don't, just be careful in the state that you live in.
Yep, exactly. All right, with that, we're gonna get on out of here. So we're gonna go through everyone's outros, and we'll go from there. All right, so Rich, you got anything you want to plug? Anything you want to bring to the people?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll move on from you.
Okay.
Travis, same question.
Yeah. No, what was your question? I'm sorry. I was still reading comments. Go and run that by me again. I know we're doing outros, but do you have a specific question or just what's up?
You got an outro or anything?
Yeah. Just sure. Yeah. No, just check out my channel, Travis B11, and check out Caliber Corner Monday nights at 6 p.m. Central over there on my YouTube channel. And that's it. It's a great place to be. And subscribe to everybody here on the panel this evening. So thanks for watching, guys.
All right. Budget, you're up.
Bunch of Guns and Gear reviews here on YouTube, and Bunch of Guns and Gear on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc. www.budgetgunsandgear.com. Hey, if anybody out there wants an AK master mount, it just won't fit on my rifle. I'll be selling it at a discount. Also, if you want a UTG side rail, I'll be selling that at a discount as well because I can't use either one. So,
we may need to talk after the chat. So, all right. So, Kingpin.
Good night. Thanks for having me.
All right. Tony.
Merry Christmas if I don't see you again or hear talk to you again.
All right. Well, Merry Christmas to you too, Tony. All right. Stacy, got anything you want to plug or let anybody know about, or anything you want? Final words of wisdom?
Not really. I mean, thanks for the invite. Watch everybody on the panel. They're awesome people. So that's about it.
All right. I'm going to put a link out there for everyone to let everyone know that I have moved the GunTube store from the blog it was on to just its own thing. And I have a couple shirts left over from the Indiegogo campaign. So if anybody wants a GunTube shirt, like everyone else got in the Indiegogo campaign, they're right there on the website. I've only got sizes. What do I got left? I should probably check that link so I know what shirt sizes I have. I've got a couple shirt sizes in large, extra large, 2X, and 3X. So if anybody wants a shirt and didn't get one, from the Indiegogo campaign, I'm selling them on the GunTube store. So go over there and buy a shirt if you want. I have plenty of stickers left too. So if you need a GunTube sticker, I've got those. I've still got some GunTube magnets, but I gotta move some of this merchandise. So if anybody needs it or anybody wants to, give it to someone as a gift, or just wants to help support GunTube, check that out because we're using GunTube Chamber. It's working. It's a good proof of concept. We have servers running right now to keep it up and running. So check it out. If you need to do any sort of live streaming on YouTube, use GunTube Chamber. So with that, we will see you guys next week. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for commenting. Thank you all for taking part of the conversation. And we will see you on the next one. So thank you all for listening. This was Hit or Miss.
Bye-bye.
How do I turn this damn thing off?
Yeah.
Where's the button?
I don't know.
I guess he hasn't figured out how to turn it off yet.
The t-shirts are nice.
Shut up, infringed!